How do you deal with delayed onset muscle soreness or stiffness from weight training? And how does it affect your jiu-jitsu?
The jiu-jitsu questions. Awesome. So obviously I work out pretty much every day. I work out. That means I lift weights, I do calisthenics, I do sprints, I do some kind of physical conditioning every single day. And that means that, yes, I am always at least somewhat sore and tired when I show up to train the jiu-jitsu, which I usually do in the evenings. So for me, jiu-jitsu always makes me feel better. You're basically getting a very gnarly full body massage when you train jiu-jitsu. You're getting a very aggressive and involuntary full body massage, and you're getting stretched in different directions. So whenever, if I did some exercise that made me sore, if I did deadlifts and I'm feeling sore, tight in my back, and I go do jiu-jitsu, by the time it's done, I don't feel that soreness anymore. So just like a massage or a stretch, I think it loosens you up, and it's pretty normal for me. I also like to train sore and tired because it just makes training a little bit harder and makes you more ready. And all that being said, when I do heavy squats or high repetition squats or any squats where I kind of push the envelope, yeah, my legs are really sore and it sucks to get on the mat, and I do it anyways.
And also training while your muscles are sore, when you're tired, it helps your technique, right? So you're not, especially as a bigger guy, having strength and weight at the same time is an advantage. It can be used as a weapon, but can get in the way of your technique.
It can get in the way of the technique, and it can get in the way of your progression.
Progression, yes, for sure. You might be speaking from a standpoint of someone who's in good condition, by the way, because I would say that for most people, I would argue, for most people, it's not a full body massage. It doesn't loosen you up. It makes you more sore.
Yes, and you know what? That's a good point. And beyond the fact, you actually are right on more points than you know. Because beyond the fact that, yes, I am in fairly good condition because I do work out every day. Also, jiu-jitsu for me, because I am experienced, is generally not a 100% physical war like you have when you're not quite as experienced.
Right.
And if you watch, when I'm rolling with guys, all my training partners, they're all good guys too. So we're training for, an hour, and we can do it. It's not because we're in that much better condition. It's just that we're that much more relaxed and we're relying more on technique. So that's a good point. And I could see where in the early days. Now, that being said, I trained this way the whole time that I've trained. Mm-hmm. So even when I was a spaz crazy, white belt warrior, I still worked out every day. Mm-hmm. And when I was a blue belt training super hard, I still worked out every day. So I was going down the path that you were right, but now I'm going to renege on that and say that you're wrong. And you just need to work out, get on the mat, loosen it up, and keep training.
Well, yeah, I think in the grand scheme of things, you'd be more loose, yeah. But we're talking about delayed onset muscle soreness. I would argue that most people after training jiu-jitsu, unless it is like just a light like roll, but if you're doing just, I don't know, your normal jiu-jitsu guy, let's say he does 4 rounds, 6 minutes, 1 minute in between. Mm-hmm. He's going to get more delayed onset muscle soreness the next day from the jiu-jitsu.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so. This is a issue that will not be solved on the Jocko Podcast. I would say try it. Try it.
That's what I'm saying. I think so, because I've been trying it for years and years. So we're going to go ahead.
That's another thing is every time you show up to do jiu-jitsu, it's not a competition day, And not that you don't have rolls and good rolls and you go hard, but there is a difference between like, oh, I'm going to let this guy pass my guard, or I'm going to I'm going to hang on with every little piece of might. And what is this look you're giving me right now?
I agree with you, but it still doesn't change my argument that even if you're rolling that way, I think that you have to roll pretty light to not get any delayed onset muscle.
Okay, here's one more
soreness.
story. And this is where you might be right. This is a funny story. So, like I just talked about when I went to college. So when I went to college at the University of San Diego, I was still in the military, but my job was to go to college, which meant that for somebody that was used to working 18 hours a day as a SEAL, all of a sudden I didn't have 18 hours a day to work. So I trained a lot. And one of the things I noticed one day, for whatever reason I think I had one of my kids was born, and I had final exams or just some perfect storm of events. And I didn't train jiu-jitsu for 3 days. And on the fourth day, I got up out of bed and I felt all like young and I wasn't sore. And I was, dang, I feel great. What is this? And what it was that I hadn't trained. And at that time, this is when Dean Lister and I were training like madmen, and he was constantly competing. I was competing, and we would train for 2 to 4 hours a day of just psycho rolling. But again, even when we were doing psycho rolling like that, it wasn't competition day, but it definitely made me sore.
Yeah.
And so you do get some soreness. You're correct. You're correct. I think I'm just used to being in a continued state of soreness.
Yeah, that's what it is. So when you're like, oh yeah, I didn't roll for 3 days on that, that fourth day, you woke up and you're like, dang, I feel young. What is this? That's called rest. You rested and you recovered.
And it happens. I mean, I travel now, and there'll be days when I don't get to train, but